The world has become a complex and often strange place to those of us that are used to comfortable surroundings, like the neighborhood store, the church down the block where you've attended since you were a child, and perhaps even that familiar face that you see day in and day out. What if you were suddenly uprooted and carried half a world away, and there weren't any of those friendly acquaintances you were so used to being around? That's what has happened to a large group of young people coming to America on a daily basis to receive a higher education in our nation's colleges. Students from almost every country in the world have come here to learn a new profession, often spending several years reaching their goals to become doctors, lawyers, and engineers. Some eventually move into the political arena and become world leaders that make life and death decisions affecting and impacting millions of lives. What has this to do with me, you ask? If we were to present the gospel of Jesus Christ to these future leaders from around the globe, we could, in essence, be missionaries to the world without leaving the city limits. Eternal Life International Ministries has been ministering to our international students for over 5 years. The impact on these fine young lives has been very eventful and rewarding. Men and women from all walks of life have received solid biblical teaching and fellowship on a weekly basis, reaching Muslim, Buddhist, Hindu, and Christians alike. The Students Association for Eternity, or SAFE, as it is normally called, has experienced successes far beyond its initial expectations. Many young men and women have come to know Jesus in a personal way through the efforts of SAFE and its dedicated leaders in the Oklahoma City area. Why reach out to these foreign visitors at all? Don't they already have a belief system in place? Why should we care about people we know so little about from so far away? First of all, Jesus commanded that we reach out to those around us, and even unto the uttermost parts of the world. Another reason for introducing others to Christ is an age-old tradition of diplomacy and hospitality. If we can show others that we live as peaceful, loving people, then they may not look at us as strangers or enemies anymore, but rather as friends and allies. It's much easier to talk to a friend than an enemy, wouldn't you agree? There are a total of 26 mosques in Oklahoma at the present time, and over 30 Buddhist organizations operating daily across our state, as well as 3 Hindu temples and dozens of Hindu organizations across Oklahoma. Do we stand by and keep silent? People are dying for lack of knowledge all around us every day. We must act now to fulfill the Great Commission that Jesus laid out for us as He left to go to the Father. Now that you know so much more than you did before you saw this short documentary, isn't it time we join together and complete God's work before Jesus returns? Over 50% of the new arrivals to the United States are students, and 70% of the international students that come to America eventually become American citizens, while the remaining 30% return to their native land and live out their lives as citizens of the world. If we can have an influence on these young people, it should be as examples of dedicated, loving Christians with real answers to life's tough questions. If we can reach the 30% that return to their own countries, sending them home as friends and allies, we will have performed a great miracle and helped to bring peace to the world, rather than the chaos and calamity we see happening around the globe today. It is up to us to reach out to these visitors traveling here to be a part of our society and our local community. You may be asking, what can I do? I'm not an evangelist or a missionary. There are many things you can do. The first of which is to reach out with a friendly word of welcome and a hearty handshake, and then let God begin to show you the way to be a part of a great organization. Eternal Life International Ministries and SAFE, the Students Association for Eternity. This is where you begin reaching the world in our backyard.